Hey friends, ZenKahuna here. Going to do a little footwear review. I like to keep my feet as minimally covered as possible. I don't go barefoot most of the time. I went through a stage for a couple of years where I did that and found that having at least a little bit of shoe has been a better option for me. So let's take a look at the shoes that I prefer the most. We'll take a look at my number one first, and that is, let's take a look down here, the Barefoot Gladiator by BodyGlove. What I like about this shoe is it's a three-toe combination. So 1, 2, and then these are all together. So there's no extra material between your toes the way there is on a pair of 5 fingers. Also, I like the little sleeve or collar on this. I have less of a tendency to get the sand and rocks and so on and so forth in that way. Plus, I like that on the bottom that has a little screen with holes so that the water can drain out if I go across creeks or if I'm down at the ocean or playing around in a river. Okay, so the other thing I like about it is it's actually less shoe even than a set of 5 fingers. There's less material on the bottom. There's no additional built-in arch. So that you see how there's arch in a 5 finger, and this is basically just a flat one. There's also less rubber on the bottom. So although the 5 fingers are good minimalist shoes, they are not as minimalist as these BodyGlove Gladiators. Now BodyGlove also makes a number of other types that are similar to this, so naturally you'd want to try them on and see what works best for you. So let's take a look though at the main complaint that most people have about BodyGlove Gladiators. They say they're hard to get on. As a matter of fact, they say the same thing about 5 fingers. So let me just first of all show you the pair of Gladiators I have on now, which are about 3 years old, and I have really worn. You see how I used shoe goo and had to put some leather here because they'd started to get some tears in it. So here's what a new pair looks like. See, it's just cloth there, which I like, but eventually after about 1.5 years I had to do a little patching on them. Okay, the reason I'm using these so long is because I want to see how long can they go and still hang in there. So even though they look a little bit like a monster shoe now, I like them a good deal. So we're going to close in again. I'm going to give you an opportunity to see the shoe on. So here's the shoe on. Undo the little elastic at the back, undo the rear strap, undo the top strap, pull it off at the heel, pull it off at the toe, and there you go. I call these my Frankenstein pair. They're starting to look like monsters. Now to put it back on, there's a key here. First of all, slide it on more like you would a sock. Remember, all these shoes like this should fit you like a sock. Then pull the heel down, stick your forefinger in there, and pull the sleeve up over the heel, back strap, front strap, get the little stretchy band for the collar, and there you go. Now some people might say, I tried that on mine and I couldn't do it like that. It spent 15 minutes, I spent half an hour getting these shoes on. I've actually read things like that in reviews of these. It's just because they didn't know how to put them on. I had a very similar experience when I first went to put these on, but once I got them on, I liked them so much I thought there's got to be an easier way. So let me show you the easier way with a relatively new pair of these. I've had these only about a month. When I say I've had them only a month, what I mean is I've actually had them on my feet for only about a month. The bottom line is I like these so much I bought 9 pair of them when they were available, because lots of times companies make changes that I don't need, and so I like to get plenty of shoes if I like them a lot. So again, get it basically started on your foot, then pull the front of it down towards your toes, get to the back, pull this heel part down, make sure you've got the elastic undone in the back, and then just pull that on. Now you can see that doesn't take 15 minutes or 5 minutes, very fast. Pull up your strap, And there you have it. So, there is your Gladiator. It really does give you just a minimalist cover, a minimalist protection. Now, I've hiked in these, I've trekked in these, I've worn them to the beach in blistering hot summer, out into the desert, on desert sands and rocks. In my mountains around here, there's lots and lots of rocks. I really like these. They're truly minimalist, but they do protect me from getting cuts on my feet from the sharp rocks. And I want to feel my environment, so these work really well for me. If we take a look at the 5 fingers, you can see that the 5 fingers have, as I said, more rubber on the bottom. They've got a little bit of an instep, but that's no big deal. They don't really do much. It doesn't do much. It's just that little extra thing. It's just a hint that I don't even need. Putting them on can also be easy. So if we slip off a Gladiator here, put these on, it's pretty much the same way. If there's a fastener, make sure you loosen it. You're going to pull it on like a sock. Make sure your little toe is set, and then just get a thumb or a forefinger, and you're in business. Now, when I did that, my little toe is stuck over here towards my 4th toe. So what I have to do is pull and rearrange to get my little toe in there. And then it's just pull up the strap, and you've got those on. If I stand in these and you take a look, you'll see that there's a substantial different look. A lot of people don't like the look of these kinds of shoes. I don't really care. I think they look cool. A lot of people ask me, matter of fact, every time I wear them, hey, do you really like those? And whether I'm wearing a 5-finger or a Gladiator by BodyGlove, I say yes, I do, and I tell them why I like them. So, again, if we take a look at the differences between the shoes, less bottom, which is what I like, with the drain holes and the neck on this one. I like the fastening better. And this one is also a very good shoe, a little bit more shoe, a little less minimalist, but still very minimalist. And both are comfortable. One thing I have noticed is that I never have any trouble with toes here. With here, every time with the little toe, I have to spend an extra, just a few seconds to get it there. And that wouldn't be so bad. It's that as I'm doing lots of times my lateral play or spiraling or twisting play with my kettlebells or clubs or whatever I'm using, my little toe will slip out. And so this is just kind of like a dangler here. And I have to stop and get my toe back in there. Now I have noticed that on this pair of Vibram 5 fingers, there's a little less of a tendency for that to happen. So again, you can, the Gladiators, either you can't find them or none of the other BodyGloves that are all 3-toe that they make suit you, then you might want to go to a Vibram 5 fingers. So to be fair, I've got 2 pair of these, I've got 3 pair of these, and I've got 9 pair of these. I would only have 8, but let's face it, I'm not getting rid of the monster pair until they absolutely are destroyed. I like to really test out my equipment. I like to see how far I can push it before it fails. I like to do a lot of that with myself too. Why? Why not? I find it entertaining and fun. So, from my side of the coin, here's what it breaks down to. Barefoot Gladiator is my first choice by BodyGlove, and 5 fingers after that. Now 5 finger, of course, makes several different variety. Check them out. See what works best for you. Let me know what happens for you. Have fun with it.